It's GCR Digital Radio from Greystones. We're here at the Park and Ride facility in Greystones, and with me now is the Cathaoirleach of Greystones Municipal District Council, and that's Councillor Jennifer Whitmore.
Yeah, so the recent draft bylaws that are out are proposing a €2 a day parking charge for use of the Park and Ride. And I think there's roughly around 500 parking spaces in the Park and Ride facility, and every day before 8 o'clock they're full with people hopping onto the Dart and getting into town. So the draft bylaws are out for consultation at the moment, but my initial response and thinking on it is that actually, it's not. I don't think it's fair to be incurring additional charges on people who are travelling into Dublin to work. The Dart charges that people pay from Greystones are significantly higher than what people pay, say, from Bray. So if your return journey from Greystones is €10.85, whereas one from Bray is €6 to €80. So we're paying a lot more here to get from Greystones into town if you're working in there. And I think to add even just, I know it's not a huge amount, €2 a day, but even adding a €2 a day charge onto that train ticket will rack things up quite considerably for people on their daily commute. I think really what we should be looking at is we should be looking at encouraging people to use public transport. I mean, the N11 is jammers every day, and it's getting progressively more busy. It's a lot more so than it was even 2 years ago. And I think actually we should be encouraging people to use public transport, and I think that this initiative will actually discourage people.
Well, on that point, we've heard about different reports and people having a look at the problem. And we all know what it is. It's very easy to identify it. The road is just oversubscribed. There's just too many cars on it, and that's particularly obvious in the morning time and evening time peak, particularly at the merge at Shankill. You come up with a really interesting idea to try and encourage people out of their cars. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I think we sometimes we tend to wait for the big solutions to come along, like the big infrastructure projects, a third lane on the N11. And we can wait and nothing happens. And I think what we need to be doing is, yes, we should be calling for that, but in the interim we should be looking at smaller short-term projects that are low cost and easy to implement. So one of the things that I've spoken to the council about is the possibility of having park and ride facilities on the N11. So if you're coming from Cllr or Wicklow town or wherever, you can just get into your car at home, so it's not I suppose much hassle for you. You don't have to go to a train station, whatever. You drive to the park and ride, and from there you get a bus that will bring you directly into the city. I think it would have to be an expressway, so it doesn't go all over the country, something that maybe stops at 1 or 2 points and gets you into the city. And I think something like that would certainly reduce the number of cars coming up on the N11. It would actually reduce the number of cars using the car park here in Greystones, which would free the park and ride up for people in Greystones. So I think that's a really good, a relatively quick win, I would imagine.
It would also have a very significant impact on bus errands turnover, which may solve a lot of their current financial problems.
Yeah, I mean, look at the potential is there for it. I think the council could be also talking to private operators about this initiative. So to be honest, it would be actually, if we got a bus company on board, it would be fantastic. The other thing that people have spoken to me about is having a facility where people can do carpooling. So one lady in particular said to me that herself and 3 of her co-workers work in the same area, and they each drive in every day because they don't want to be driving to each other's houses to get somewhere to pick, so they can pick each other up. Whereas if you had a park and ride facility on the N11, they could just go there, leave their car there and carpool into the city. And then you could also look at, and this is something that I want to raise with the NTA, the possibility of having carpooling lanes. So rather than the bus lanes just being for buses and taxis, that actually if you have 3 or 4 people in your car, that you can use that lane to get in quickly, because that's something that happens all over the world, and it happens, it's used very well and it's very successful, and I don't understand why we don't implement something like that here. So I think what we should be looking at is lots of small initiatives that are relatively quick to do, cheap to do, that will actually help whilst looking for the big infrastructure projects as well.
And if people would like to make a submission on the draft parking bylaws, how do they do that?
Absolutely. So I think this is really important. I think people need to get involved in this discussion. You might think it's a really good idea that the charges are being brought in, or you may think it's a very bad idea, but we do want to hear what you have to say. So you can go onto the website www.wicklow.ie, and you can leave a comment there, or you can email, I think it's parkingbylaws@wicklow.co, but certainly go onto the website for more information.
Councillor Jennifer Whitmore, the Cathaoirleach of Greystones Municipal District Council, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.